guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to cut bangs into a wig. Alright, so there's a couple things you're going to need to do this, and I'm going to show you what those are. The first thing you're going to want is a pair of scissors, hair cutting scissors, something super sharp. Crafting scissors work as well. Pretty much use the scissors that you would use to lace cut if you don't have actual hair shears. The other thing you're going to want is you're also going to want some thinning shears. They do sell these combo packs on Amazon where you get the hair scissors and you also get this thinning shears. I highly recommend that. I'll put that link down below. I lost the scissors that came with these, but I'm going to be using these thinning shears today as well. You're also going to want a wig brush, whatever wig brush you have at home. Some type of wig brush that's going to detangle so you can make sure you get all the knots out of the hair that we're going to be working with so that we don't have any issues. And then the last thing you're going to want to have is you're going to want to have a hot comb, preferably a hot comb, but if you have a straightening iron at home, you can use that as well. I just never really recommend straightening irons because you are taking two metal plates and pressing them together and you have less control of the heat. So if you're going to be using one of those to do this, I would just make sure it's as low as possible. We're going to start off at 300 because we really just want to try to get rid of the part. We're not having to do a whole lot of repairing or anything. So I'm going to start off at 300 and I shouldn't have to go any higher than that. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to section off the hair that we're going to be using to create our bangs. Any type of little pointed thing that you can really separate the hair out is going to work for you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and section off what I'm going to be using for these bangs here. And I'm just either a rat tail comb or I'm just going to use the tip of these scissors here. And one recommendation I do have is that you bring this all the way down to that ear tab area almost so that you have this extra hair here. We might not use all of this, but we are going to use a little bit of this past the bang area just to kind of blend it in to the rest of the hairstyle so it doesn't just look like a bang and then like a blunt stop. And then I'm just going to take a little scrunchie and put the hair that I'm not going to be working with out of my way and just put it in like two little pigtails just on either side to make sure that it's not getting cut on accident. All right, so the next thing we're going to want to do is obviously we don't want to have this big gap from the part here. So we're going to take our hot comb or heating tool that you're using and we're going to go ahead and get rid of this part by taking this and actually just kind of brushing these together. So this is where I also recommend taking your brush and really getting like the knots out of this area of the wig that you're going to be using because you are using heat on it and you don't want to cause any damage to the wig. And sometimes too, a little recommendation is really with this section right here, which is where we need to concentrate getting it to connect, is really holding it together, kind of giving it a little bit of tension here and holding this right here. And I like to kind of go back and forth on this section and then I'll stay here and hold this for another second or two, let it cool off and then let it go, and it usually will make it really nice and like together. And then you still might see a little bit of a gap and then you can just kind of slowly repeat that over and over again a couple times and usually I won't see a little split at all after that. All right, so then once you feel like you have a really nice bang here and it's all really nice and smooth and connected and you don't see any weird gaps or anything like that, we're going to be ready to move on to the next step, which is going to be cutting our bangs out. All right, so then after I've done the smoothing out of these bangs, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put this wig on. And I really highly recommend not skipping this step because everyone's forehead's different and you can really gauge where you want those bangs to sit if you go ahead and just take the extra step to try it on and make sure you know exactly where you want to cut instead of guessing. And then I also always recommend when you're doing this, you kind of figure out where you want your bangs to be. So I always like mine to kind of sit right on my eyebrow and I'm going to cut below that and I'm going to give myself a little bit extra. So if I feel like this is where I would want my bangs to sit, I'm going to bring my hand down here and then I'm going to cut below because I want to give myself a little extra room and then I'm going to go ahead and take the wig off. Yeah, don't lose your spot. And I'm just going to pinch that because I know exactly where that spot is. And I'm going to go ahead and take a little hair tie and put the hair tie right in that area so I can put the wig back on the wig head. All right, so like I said, I am going a little bit longer than I actually want these bangs to be. So I'm going to be cutting below my hands here. My husband hates now that there's just wig hair all over the place. And this is why. All right, so now we have our section here in the middle cut. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just bring these out a little bit further and just make sure like I have a good amount. And if you need to bring the bangs out a little bit further because you did a smaller section here, you would then just take the section that you started with, bring over new hair, and then match it up. So the next thing you're gonna wanna do is take those pieces like I said, and you're gonna wanna take your thinning shears here, and we're just gonna kind of take them and go like that and just thin out this area. And it's also gonna just kind of layer it a little bit and make it kind of blend in with the rest of this hairstyle. And I'm also gonna go ahead and take these thinning shears right here on the ends of my bangs. And I'm gonna do the same thing just to kind of give me more of that like thin wispy bang style. And it also will help kind of hide any imperfections because I am not a professional hairdresser, and I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you probably aren't either. This is also where once you have the hair down, you can also go ahead and take these right here in this front layer if you feel like you need to, and just kind of also thin it out and blend it together a little bit more. All right, so the last thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna take your hot comb here and you're gonna lift up, and we're gonna go ahead and we're going to take this and just kind of hold it here for a second. I kind of move it back and forth just so it's not in one place for too long. And then I'm gonna take my hand off and I'm gonna hold this up and let it cool off. And then when you let it go, it will actually kind of keep this nice little volume from the roots. It will slowly and naturally fall. So this is something that you kind of are gonna maybe have to touch up every once in a while if you notice that they're starting to kind of lose that volume right there, but it's super easy to do. While you're doing this, you're also gonna discover a bunch of hair that you feel like you thought you got, but you missed. So you're just gonna kind of go through and just clean all that up. And the last thing you wanna do is you wanna seal these ends. And you can also at this point decide if you want your bangs to be nice and straight like this, you can leave them. Or if you want to go ahead and give them a little bit more of a little curl under, you can do that as well at this point. But you really wanna kind of try to seal the ends because we did cut them. It's kind of the same theory as like split ends on your own hair. They kind of will run and it can cause more damage faster. So I like to do this just to kind of seal them. All right, so these are the bangs. I did have to cut like this much more off because I am traumatized from cutting my bangs way too short one time on a wig. So I always go way too long. So once I put it on my face, I look like Cousin It. So I went ahead and brought them up a little bit higher. And this is the final kind of look. Once you get them on, you might notice that once you take the brush and let them fall naturally, there might be a little spot where you maybe missed a piece or you see a hair in your face. Just take your scissors and just cut that off. And if you do have to cut any sections over here, just make sure you hit it with the heat after you're done again, like I said, to seal the ends of the hair that you're cutting. And then also, like I said, if you're doing this on a free part wig, you wouldn't have to do the first step where we had to take heat to bring the part together. But you can see it's nice and together and you would never know. All right, so I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I hope that now you feel a little bit less afraid to go cut some bangs into your favorite wig that you've just been dying to put bangs into. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.